Sick, man.
Hi, Broc.
Hey, what's up, Bobby?
Hey, man. Just hanging out. Just finished doing a cold plunge and sauna and hot tub back and forth. That was fun. And then I ate some bison and some eggs and cheese. How you
Wow,
doing?
dude.
What you
Dude,
what'd you
that's, I
eat?
mean, dude, I don't even know if what I just ate can compare to what you just did. Uh, I keep it old school. I had a peanut butter, or sorry, an almond butter, jelly, and banana sandwich.
Excellent,
So
so you
you,
do pretty good on social media. What do you have like times of day that you post or a cadence? Like are you trying to post every other day? Like what's your and like how do you do that? Because you do a good job and it's obviously all you doing it, but what's your flow? What's your social media flow, Brock?
um, I try not to be too strict on it, like just because I wanted the stuff to happen super organically and not feel too like rigid,
Hmm.
But I do try to stick to like some sort of routine, try to like post on like a Monday or a Wednesday or a Friday, sometime in the morning, just to get it out of the way. That way I'm not sort of thinking about it all day and it's like ruining sessions or anything like that. But other than that, that's pretty much it, man. I don't really like stress out too hard or anything about a posting schedule or anything like that. I know the algorithm likes that a lot. And for me, especially lately, like I feel like social media, at least for me, is something that can consume me as a writer, whether it's scrolling, looking, posting, filming, all that stuff. I've been really
Hmm.
trying to like take a step back from how much focus I put on that in my life and just try to like really dive into experiences. And if the session's going good, like don't stop somebody else's session to give them the camera to like film a clip of you, or don't sit there like getting frustrated that you're not getting your Insta clip for the next day. Just kind of be present and enjoy the session for what it is. And if it comes, it comes. And if not, like there's always tomorrow,
Yeah.
like, yeah, as we talked about me almost hitting Grant or falling on
Yep,
Grant.
right there. Hell of a clip to open it.
I,
Let's talk about it.
yeah, let's talk about that one. That was one of the clips throughout the filming process. It was kind of pretty loose, being that Grant is freelancing and filming with so many people all the time. Like it was very hard to get like clip or like spot focused days in, because like you as a freelance filmer, you want to go to spots that everybody can ride. That way you can walk away with multiple clips for each project, right? And so this day specifically was a day where I was like, hey, like I got this spot that I really want to do, this bar gap ice on. And like luckily we still had a packed van, but that day he was like, yo, we're gonna go crush this out real quick and then we'll go to all these spots. So it was super cool to get that clip done. Yeah, yeah.
I love this one too.
Yeah, this one was pretty, I wouldn't want to say hard, but I definitely had to get creative here just because that's a spot that's been absolutely destroyed over the years. It's a weekday spot, and so many riders have come through the spot and absolutely murdered it. And
Hmm.
being that again, Grant's always, you can see Grant's bike in the background, and there was a couple of riders also with us this day. So just making sure not to take up too much time and sponge up the camera time from the other riders and stuff like that, but also trying to be creative on these spots to allow myself to get a clip just like everybody else is definitely part of the duet dance of working with a freelance filmer that has a van full of riders.
Speaking of crank arms, dude.
Yeah, that's why I referenced it.
Yep.
Yeah, I like
That's
that clip a lot.
incredible. How hard was that? How long did that take?
That one, because the rail's slightly curved, this one wasn't that big of a battle. And to be honest, this is my favorite crank hard that I've ever pulled,
It's pretty
because
dang good, dude.
a
Wow.
lot of the times I've tended to land them without a lot of speed coming out of them. And I just like this one because like I landed and was able to like carry my
Actually
speed
roll
throughout the
away,
fake
yeah.
cab.
This one, I think I thought about earlier while I was talking to you, the backwards Smith. When we brought up Drew, I was like, this is an homage to Drew right here. Like this spot
100%.
use is so good, dude. That's
Thank you.
yeah.
That's definitely something that I try to keep in mind throughout the filming process, is definitely spot usage and utilizing maybe the entire spot or aspects of a spot maybe people pass up.
So good.
Just because I feel like applying that level of creativity to maybe spots that people have been to a lot might spark something new, and then that may be the difference between you getting a clip that day and maybe leaving empty-handed.
I love it. It's one of my favorite clips in the whole thing.
And
if you ask me.
Also, another nuance to that last clip is, you know, again, I'm gonna keep saying this a lot. I'm probably gonna sound like a broken record, but I'm so particular about clips that I wanted to do this clip without pedaling in between the two. You might notice that a lot throughout this video and others moving forward. Is I definitely try to focus
that
on
little
not like
pump right there, dude.
Yeah, try to get that pump to get myself
Yep.
going, to get the speed rather than like taking the crank. I just feel like it, to me personally, just looks a lot more fluid. But obviously, if you have to take a pedal, like don't think that the whatever the BMX
pro level
police are
stuff,
gonna
bro.
come.
That's pro level stuff. That's attention to detail in your writing. That's beautiful.
I like it, man.
That's good to hear.
It's meaningful to me. You know, it might not be for everybody, but it's meaningful to me.
That's all in the details, man. On here.
Again, another line that I went back and did a couple times without pedaling in between the two. Just approaching the hangar with enough speed to get through there, land in a solid way, and then have enough speed to do the wall 180 to fakie pegs cab.
And then the cab, you have to like be tall to not hit the wall.
Exactly. Like, yeah, it's super duper close. And yeah, just trying to like not run your front wheel into the other wall and stuff like that. There's two things I'll say about this clip. It's definitely one of the harder ones to get, just because hopping, like doing a hop bar into a crank, like having to go up like that, was super difficult to have the time to get my hands back on before my crank hit the rail.
Yep.
And then also being in a good position to not only slide a decent distance to come close enough to the wall to like make it obvious that I was like trying to like ditch hitting the wall, but also be able to come over comfortably.
So good. That's a nice one.
Yeah, this one was me kind of stepping out of my comfort zone. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people noticed that you know, I'm not the biggest backwards manualer or, you know, the tech manual guy. So being able to pull this one off quite fast, I'll say, was definitely came as a surprise, which is why you see Cody, aka High Desert, laughing, because like he was set up with like snacks and like chilling.
Yeah.
You know, we were like, all right, dude, we're gonna see where this goes. And it happened quicker than we all imagined. Even Grant laughed, you know, like he was just like, okay. And, you know, you always got to be thankful for those, because not often does that happen where you walk away with something quicker than what you thought you were gonna.
That's insane. There's some stuff that's been done that Grant film. Oh my God, I love this one too. And I love all the clips, dude.
Thanks, man. This was a spot that I passed up, like, I think maybe coming home from somewhere, and I was just like, what? Like, that looks crazy. And I didn't really ride it. And upon the day that we actually showed up to try it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be way harder to ride than like I actually thought, because I hop up the curb, and then almost as soon as you hop up the curb, you have to like hop and hit the rail. And yeah, so I definitely kind of danced with death a few times, like hopping into the hangar and like catching like the very last inch of the rail. Like, so that was like real sketchy, but I like just the way the spot looked with like that little like V, like the yellow V rail coming down. And again, shout out to Grant and his editing expertise for putting the regular hanger 180 toboggan and then backing it up with the switch hanger 180 on the out rail. I think that was really cool that he kind of put those back to back.
Dude, and it's such a tall hop too. That's I mean, am I wrong? That's over bar height. Sheesh.
It was sketch, man, especially having Grant so close, you know, like having him right there on the other side of the rail. It's not like we weren't used to being in close quarters with one another, but the more times I can keep myself from like smashing the film or running into him or bailing into him, you know, the better.
That's a trick I'm jealous of. I wish I could nollycap. Okay, yeah. Shit.
This was probably one of my favorite filmed clips that Grant filmed. Obviously, the entire video is filmed flawlessly, but I felt like he was like literally under me with the fisheye right here, you know, and this just to be that close and under me and then follow through with the camera as I'm like going down and then 180ing, I felt like takes some like huge skill. And I was just like, when he showed me the fisheye angle, I was like, oh my God, dude, like you filmed the fuck out of that.
Hell yeah. Good job, Grant.
Yeah, good
job, both of yous.
Yeah.
That's a great clip.
Thanks,
I
man.
love the colors too. I think you can see in the fish clip he moved something to be this red, right?
Yes, correct. He
Yeah.
moved something to kind of be in the way.
Yeah. Here we go. A specialty sauce. So good.
Yeah. Old Faithful, baby.
Old
Had to
Faithful. Yeah.
gotta include it. But
Am
at
I wrong
least
to think that this was easy for you? is,
um
is that rude to
the
say?
the trick, obviously, once I got into the position, as we spoke about in the earlier part of this podcast,
Yep.
the trick itself was easy once I got in the position, but getting myself into that position, up the first rail, through the flat, and then up to the second rail was like extremely difficult
I
because I
believe it.
was
Yeah.
mashing, like I was like pedaling really fast, so my legs were toast by the time I got to the bottom to hop up the rail. That used up the rest of my energy, so I'm basically going up this rail with like noodle legs to then get to the top and have to like pop myself over. It was a big effort, to say the least.
The position that you get yourself into to do the over three is so nuts. Like you're just like your bike is straight up and down and your head's over your front tire. It is wild, that
Trying to
trick.
get that wheel off that rail, man.
Yeah.
That's the key, is to get that wheel away from the rail. That way you don't have any interference when you're trying to spin. You know, the more your tire touches or interferes with the rail, the harder the spin's gonna feel.
So good, man. Perfection. Perfection. Pretty good. Boom. This one I was pretty hyped on. Like the tail whip came out of nowhere for me. I was like, in my head,
Hell
like
yeah.
I'm always thinking of what trick is coming next, and I was expecting something with the mani pad to the street, and then just like, oh, tail whip. All
Yeah,
right.
this was also another clip that was a pretty big battle. It was hot that day, and for some reason, I thought it was a good idea to wear a long sleeve. Although it kept me from getting sunburnt, I had to stick with the kit just because I liked having the white long sleeve under the black tee like that. So I
Yeah.
just was like sweating it out. But yeah, I was hyped on how the whip came around and was able to land it pretty solid with speed.
Yeah. Everything leading up to it is so difficult too. It's
Which um
mm,
for us, we never really had a clear ender throughout filming for this video, up until earlier this year, when these literally last three clips came about: the Predator, Fakey Whip, the Switch Truck, and the Tooth Over Pegs Hard 180. But this
yeah.
one just seemed like the right fit to both of us, just
Yeah.
because it's a pretty technical trick matched up with spot usage, and it just kind of just felt nice with the way that Grant laid it out, with the way I like slip into the over pegs right when the song ends, and
Yeah.
then like following it up with the slow mo. I just felt like when he sent me the draft with that in it, it was just like, like I was just like, dude, that you nailed it. Like again, Grant showcasing his like expertise as a filmer and editor.
Yep. It's really good. I don't know
Thanks.
why it's
Yeah.
important to have big goals and weigh your decisions of your daily life against the future and what you want it to look like.
Well, I definitely think there's got to be a balance there. I
We can
mean,
party.
yeah, exactly. Like I don't want people to think like you have to have this strict lifestyle in order to achieve, big goals like I set for myself. Like you don't have to limit yourself. Like obviously there's a healthy balance. Like you definitely want to like wager the idea of, oh well, I got finals tomorrow, maybe getting hammered tonight isn't the best idea. And again,
Oh,
that's no shade on anybody that's ever done that, but like, maybe having that bit of rational decision making might be the difference between you finding yourself achieving the goal that you wanted versus not.
yeah.
And I think to revisit something else you said, like, like, are you able to get in the van with people and be the homie and like not suck? Like I
Yep.
believe that there's so much that comes from that statement, meaning like, yeah, you can get in the van and be the homie, but if you're like, an asshole, you're disrespectful, you talk rudely to people, all that stuff, people are going to pick up on that and weed that out real quickly. And on top of that, like if you're a good person and like the team is, like fucking with you pretty heavy, like just think about like what the kids and the scene around you is going to do. Like if you're this good person and you're radiating positivity not only in your personal life but in BMX as well, like that's only going to bring good things to you down the road, whether you achieve a sponsorship or not. Like you're going to watch that compound again and again to where you'll be achieving things that you had never even thought of, because like you've become a person that people want to support and want to be around, because you give support back and you give things back to them in the community as well. It was great. It was great to catch up and to even have this opportunity to be on this podcast with you. I know we were trying to get it done over time, but I just felt like during the time that we were trying to do it, I was still in the midst of working on stuff. So now that we're here, it's nice to finally kind of show light on what exactly I was working on during those.
It was meant to be done today. This is the day that it was meant to happen, you know?
It's perfect, man. Well, yeah, shout out to you for putting this on. I'm a Kanode Nose listener through and through. I love listening to these things and listening to people nerd out on BMX. It's something I enjoy a lot.
That's awesome. I might be self-conscious now knowing that Broc Raiford listens to the show, but we will carry on, dude.
I'm just another guy, dude. I'm just another rider hanging out with you at the session.